Right, I got a bit of interest in this Foredom router base that I made, so I'm going to make a short video about it in case anyone wants to duplicate or do something similar, because it really is a useful little router carving base for router carving. I'll start at the bottom. The base part is made from some kind of HDPE, high density plastic. It was like a bit like a harder version of a cutting board, but I suppose a cutting board, if it was good, the hard one, would work. Then there's a piece of 6mm thick aluminium angle, which is started out like 75. That'll be 75mm across there, and then the upright part of it is 50mm from the top surface of the bottom part, so 56mm total height on that. The two handles are 15mm aluminium rod, which are just turned on the wood lathe, tapped, drilled a hole in the bottom end and tapped it at M4, so the M4 machine screws countersunk, holding those so it's flat, the base is still flat. The same with the aluminium angle, that's M6, no, M5, sorry, no, they are M6 machine screws countersunk to maintain the flatness of the base. And the magnifying glass is one of those little soldering devices with a magnifier and two crocodile clips. They're rubbish, and I had one, so I donated it to this. Chopped off the arm where it mounts into the base, drilled it, tapped it M4, or yeah, M4, flush, countersunk, machine screw in from the base again, and then that thing just mounts onto that little post. In the base, the shape of the base was important. It's like a normalish router base. I've got one end rounded, and there's a little stick out circle there to hold that magnifier. Little clamp in there which grabs the Foredom. I just measured the thinnest point of the taper, made a little clamp. It's at 45 degrees to the clamping. It's on M4 to it's M6 thick, 6mm thick aluminium. It will be an offcut from the angle iron, and then drilled and tapped at the back for M4, so a 4mm hole in the front part of it. That just grabs the Foredom, and then there's a little fork on the back which grabs a piece of threaded rod, and that's about 6 inches long, plus maybe 3/4 of an inch going into the fine adjustment, which has got a knob made of that same 15mm aluminium bar, and then another 1-inch disc drilled and tapped for M6, and a nut which locks all that, and that's held in there with whatever that thread lock stuff, Loctite thread locker. And the clamp down there, the thing that clamps the bottom of the Foredom to allow you to adjust the height, is just between two nylon lock nuts. A little bit of backlash which I could adjust out, but I'd have to put brass washers in between the nuts, otherwise it binds up. Right, the spine of this is 18mm thick Baltic birch ply, one piece of which is bolted to the aluminium angle upright, and then 3 layers of Baltic birch ply. That's a 50mm by 50mm, but then the centre part has got an extra 18mm to create a lap joint into the spine, so it's lapped and doweled right the way through into the, so those 2 pieces are lapped, glued and doweled. There's also a dowel through right the way through these 3 pieces, but I don't know whether it does anything in reality. That's all glued together anyway. Right, to lock the height, there's a clamping nut, which is another piece of M6 threaded rod. Oh, something else I should point out. Where that threaded rod comes out the bottom of this block, there is a threaded insert set in the bottom, and the top part is drilled out at 6.5mm, so that the only place it's screwing is right down there, so that otherwise you wouldn't be able to adjust it. And the same with this, that's threaded rod with another 15mm round bar aluminium, 2 grooves and 2 little grommets, just rubber grommets to give you a bit of grip. A threaded insert, you know, a 6mm M6 threaded furniture insert in there, and I just made a little brass end cap just to make it look pretty. It's for a Foredom H.44T handpiece, so that's a 1-inch hole. Then I cut 2 slits in on the bandsaw. They go past the hole, just past it about 1/4 inch, so that it can clamp, so that whole thing clamps up, and that locks the handpiece when you're routing. So to adjust it, you've got to unlock it, adjust your height, and then relock it. I'm rocking on something here. I'll figure that out. That shouldn't be rocking. I probably haven't got one of the screws tightened up enough. Oh no, it's on the bit. That's why I just adjusted it down, didn't I? There we go. Right, for the lighting, because when you look in there with no light, it's hard to get a light set up to get right down in there. So I've just made a little, I had this in a different place before, but it was interfering with the height adjust. So I've made a little bracket of aluminium, 1mm thick aluminium, and then there's a light on the back of there, if I can get it in view, which is just a little cob light out of a Poundland little work lamp, a little 5-volt work lamp. And then I cannibalised a USB lead, and I've taped a power bank to the back, so that, hold on, if I can find a switch there, when I'm working, the work area is completely illuminated really nicely, and you get a really good view. That's a 2.5 magnification magnifying glass, so you get a really good, all you can see through that magnifying glass is the bit and a little bit of the bracket. You can't see any of the base. It's a really nice view, so you can work quite accurately. Is there anything else? Oh, you will need, using this with the H.44, I've got right just over here the desktop controller to set the speed, rather than the foot control. It's difficult to get that speed right with the foot control, So that desktop controller allows you some adjustment in the speed. And of course in that H44 got a 1/4 inch collet to take 1/4 inch router bits or carving burrs. You can put a 3.2mm 1/8 inch in there also, so you can do it with smaller bits if you've got them. And I think that, so yeah, it's the main constructions were the base out of some HDPE, 6mm thick HDPE. The handles and knobs are all out of a length of 15mm aluminium round bar. The spine, that aluminium angle, 6mm thick, 75 by 75mm aluminium angle, which I use for a lot of construction. Some threaded bars, the magnifying soldering thing which I've hacked down because it gives you those nice little ball joint pivots to move it around, and the power bank and light, a little bracket for that. Okay, hope you find that helpful. Thanks for watching.